morning, y'all. This is Debbie Arnold with Dining with Debbie. You know, if you grow a garden, most likely here in the South especially, you're going to grow some okra of one form or another. And occasionally you let those okra pods get larger than you really would like for them to be. Sometimes you can use them, and honestly, sometimes I just put them in the compost. They've gotten so hard, and it seems like in a matter of a day they can go from being little finger size to about it seems like several inches, 10 to 12 inches sometimes. And there again, it depends on the variety. Well, I had that happen to me this week, but fortunately the pods are still fairly tender, so I'm going to use them. But I'm going to use them not frying them up in the way that I would typically do, as I've shown you before. But I'm going to make up some okra fritters today. We're popular in the South, our fritters are popular in the South with us because we can use up so many vegetables in those. And they're always delicious, whether they're corn or squash or zucchini or whatever kind of fritter you might be frying up. So I'm going to show you how I cut these up. I take these larger pods. Now if you have the smaller ones, that's okay. You're just going to go ahead and thinly slice those. But I've taken these larger ones, and I'm going to actually just kind of quarter them and then chop them, not too finely, because they are the meat of your fritter. I've already chopped up quite a bit here for us to use. I like to do this recipe kind of in two parts. I start by cooking up 4 slices of bacon in my skillet. And this one is the same skillet that I'm going to use to fry up the fritters here in just a little bit. But anyway, I cooked up the bacon. I'll set the bacon aside. It's all crumbled up, and I will add that to the fritter batter before I cook them. So right now I'm warming up this bacon grease that's left in here. And y'all, if you're in the South, you got to save that bacon grease. I remember my grandmother had a can sitting on her stove all the time. Both my grandmothers, actually. I'm going to add a little bit more oil to this. This is olive oil that's been infused with garlic. You know I love that stuff, right? All right, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to saute this okra along with about half of an onion and about a third of a large jalapeno. The jalapeno is optional. We like it because it adds a little kick. I'm going to sprinkle the okra with some ground chipotle pepper. Here again, this is optional. It doesn't take much, just a little. It does add a little heat. If you don't like that, you can use paprika, you can use smoked paprika. I like the smokiness that brings. Okay, so we're going to add in our okra and start to let that saute. We're not going to cook it through. We're just softening it up. And honestly, I could have used a little bit bigger skillet, but I'm the one washing the dishes, y'all. Okay. And I believe in trying to do as many one pots as you can. We're going to let that cook up. And then after it has softened up, we're going to add in 2 cloves of chopped garlic. And I don't like to add the garlic now because, garlic will overcook very, very quickly. So we're going to saute that up, let it soften up, and then I'm going to set it aside until I get ready to make up my batter for the fritters. I will do that right before I cook them because I want them to be light and fluffy and crispy. And if you try to make it up ahead of time and then fry them later, it doesn't always work very well. This is what you're going to need, though, to complete the recipe. You're going to need 1 egg at room temperature, 1 large egg. You're going to need a cup of cornmeal mix. Now, I use White Lily cornmeal mix for nearly all of my cornmeal mix recipes. I also have used Aunt Jemima, especially if I want yellow cornmeal. I will use that. I will also add in a cup of buttermilk. Remember, you're going to shake up that buttermilk really well before you use it. Okay? And some salt and pepper. I'll go ahead and salt and pepper the sauteed okra here in just a little bit. And when we get ready to, I'm going to add some more oil to the skillet to make it enough, probably about 1/2 of an inch or so, so that I can fry up the fritters. That's kind of hard to say, fry up the fritters. Y'all try that. Anyway, when I get ready to do that, I'll come back and show you how we do that. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we're ready to make up our batter for our okra fritters. Our okra and onions and smoked chipotle pepper and bacon are all over here cooling down. I added the bacon to that sauteed okra mixture, and it's waiting for us to add to the batter. Our batter is going to start with a cup of White Lily self-rising cornmeal mix. Well, cornmeal mix is self-rising, but anyway, we're going to start with that. We're going to add in to 1 cup of buttermilk, a whole egg. I'm going to whisk that together just a little bit so it's well combined. And then we're going to add it to our cornmeal mix. You may find that depending upon the weather of the day, you may need to add a little bit more cornmeal mix, or you may need to add in more buttermilk. I'm not sure we can cook in the South without butter and buttermilk, y'all. And you know, I was reading the other day, I'm in several cooking groups, and in one of the groups they were talking about okra, and somebody said, "What is okra?" And I went, I've never known what okra wasn't, but you know, it just is the culture in which we grew up in. So several people went about trying to explain what the okra was. But okra is just one of those experiences, isn't it? We eat it in so many different ways. Some people love it, and some people just simply cannot stand it. I'm not one on boiled okra so much, although my grandfather loved it. All right, so we've got our batter mix here. We're going to add in our okra, bacon, and onion mixture. And again, you can season this to taste. I did add that chipotle pepper in there. And it's going to give it, and jalapeno, and it's going to give it just a little kick. Now stir that together well. All right. We are going to do a test run. You always do a test run when you're doing fritters. Make sure our oil is hot. And I'm going to get my cookie scoop. I'm going to run a test here. I've got a pan over here with some paper towels that I'll use to drain the fritters on. Okay, let's see if our oil's ready yet. Not quite ready. It needs to be a little bit hotter. But that's a good size for a fritter. You can make them larger if you want to. I have a problem getting them done in the center. I like them really crispy on the outside. So I usually just use, this is a tablespoon and a half of a cookie drop, and I use it all the time for everything. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of action going here. I like to kind of spread the oil over the top of it, and they puff up. They're about the size of a good meatball, actually. So we want these to get good and brown, and then we'll set them aside and let them drain a little bit before we eat them. Now, okra fritters are best eaten right after they're cooked. So it's not something you want to prepare ahead of time and set aside, because they will get soggy. You can try keeping them warm in a 200-degree oven if you want, but I just find it's better just to fix them and then serve them almost immediately. I hope you'll give this okra fritters recipe a try. We're going to have one done here in just a little bit for you to see. I'm going to start adding in a couple more. I mean, what's not to love, guys? You got bacon, you got buttermilk, you got cornbread mix, you got okra and butter. Not butter now, but the butter and the buttermilk, I guess is what I meant. If they start to fall apart on you, which is what this one is doing right here, then I probably need to add in a little bit more of the cornmeal mix. I'm just using my hand, y'all. I'm an own. That's what I do. My hands are clean. I'm going to firm that up a little bit. First one held together just fine. This one is not. I'm going to go ahead and take it out where it scatters all in the pan. I have that same issue happen sometimes when I'm making potato cakes. Y'all do that? I don't make them very frequently because I know y'all think I fry a lot, but I really don't. I guess I maybe fry more in the summer because of the different types of things that we have coming out of the garden. But today we're having an all veggie meal, and we look forward to those. We do that 2 or 3 times a week even, and so I find it's a good way to stretch our budget, but it's also just healthier for us, I think. Here. I'll come back here in just a little bit and show you this okra fritter when it's done. In the meantime, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying healthy. And join me here in just a little bit and we'll have a delicious okra fritter coming off of the skillet. Here we have just a little sampling of our okra fritters that we're going to have with our lunch today. You can easily see how much they kind of look like hush puppies or whatever. If you crack them open, you're going to have this soft okra filling. It's a little bit like having fried cornbread, if you've ever had that before. Anyway, they're delicious. Another way to use up that okra. I hope you'll enjoy them, and I hope you'll give them a try and that you certainly enjoy them. Let me know if you do, and get back to me with your ideas for changing the recipe up or how you might do it for your family. What are some other ways that you like to use okra, this summer bounty that we're having right now? And aren't we thankful for that? Hope you have a really blessed day. Come back and join me again soon. Thank you.